and your first. Would you mind standing up?
You want me to stand up?
Yeah, please.
All right. I'm Stephanie. I'm with the Kingston Canadian Film Festival, and I have a question for Danielle. I'm very excited that you guys are here. I mentioned to Greg that I wanted to talk to you guys. I just was wondering if you could tell us a bit about your numbers and also what you're doing in the advertising.
So right now, all the advertising we've done up to this point, I want to reiterate that we are 2 years old, 2.5. So we're still very much learning at this point as well. As far as advertising goes, up to this point, all of the advertising we have done has been in kind. So lots of link sharing. We started off, and I mean like started off like we had this tiny little site in front of us and not a whole lot going on with it yet. And we just started picking out exactly, I can't remember who said it, somebody said it before me about finding the right people, making the right connections. That's how we started. I wrote the people I knew. My husband wrote the people he knew, and next thing we knew, we started making these connections, getting advertisements up. The ones that are up there currently, like I said, are completely done in kind or done just because we have a good relationship with the people that are there. We are currently working on an advertising plan, which won't actually be available to us or to you until the new year. So I don't have any specific numbers for you at this point. We are completely nonprofit, so when we do begin doing advertising, paid advertising, all the money is going directly back into the site, and hopefully we can get a few more writers.
So I guess by numbers, I mean web stats. What kind
Oh,
of
web
visitors
stats,
is
yes.
it?
We've grown, at this point we get about 300 unique visits a day right now, which has been awesome to see happening, and anyone who visits our site regularly will notice that our comments are going just wild right now, especially our polls, which we recently started. So yeah, we're growing. I'd say at this point, we've doubled our numbers in the last year.
Thanks, Stephanie. Any other questions for panelists? Or also, feel free if there's maybe something you forgot or something that's come up that you want to add to what your introductions were. Yes.
Ben again from the Jazz Society. I send out a message to our mailing list of 400 people at most once a week. Can I add you to that, and is that enough as long as it's a carefully crafted email to sort of generally to everyone, or should I be sending long press releases? I'm sure you love reading those. My emails include links to articles on our site that have pictures, video, that sort of thing. Is that enough, or should I be doing more?
And is this directed to anyone in particular?
Well, I'd like to know for everybody.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Anyone want to respond to that question?
What are they about? Are they about
I usually,
it
breaks it down to two things. I try to promote local and recurring events. So that doesn't change a whole lot from week to week, but also we tend to have, I'd say every month or two, a show from someone coming in out of town. We had a trio visiting from France that did 3 shows in Canada a week ago, and they had 12 people in the crowd. So that was not a success.
I never heard about it.
No, I know. I think maybe Danielle did, and that's about it. There was some extenuating circumstances with that one, but I have another one coming in December, and I'd really like to fill the mansion. So, and then we have a big series in the winter time, so that'll be 1 show a month, but not usually more often than that.
Just to clarify, you were asking whether you can send regular open press releases to everyone?
Well, can I add you to my list that I send to people anyway?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or should I be doing separate targeted
Don't
things?
ask permission, just send them.
Well,
please.
Okay.
You're more concerned about what we're going to read and what we're not going to read.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Like if you send something with 5 events, are we going to read all 5?
That's right, and I want to make, like, how do I keep the signal to noise ratio so that...
For me, that works perfectly. I think you know that.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Irina and then Tori.
I would say a direct request would be way better. We get a lot of these kinds of emails, and compared to people calling us on the phone or emailing us directly, we're obviously going to go with that kind of personal approach above the listserv. So I would say directly is better. And then we can talk about doing either a free promotional exchange, or we can talk about discounted rates for nonprofit organizations or a local rate. So yeah, direct is better.
Okay, Thanks, Tori.
Similarly, at Kingston this week, when we, especially because we do a lot of non-for-profit advertising for free, things that come out to a slew of people, we have a tendency to look at as though other people are going to cover them, and therefore kind of let them take a backbench. That's not to say that you shouldn't send things out as a whole, but following up independently, maybe sending out to a mass list and then maybe taking an hour of your day to, like once a week, to call those outlets makes it a little bit easier for us to identify you personally as opposed to just some kind of spam. And that sounds awful, but you have to understand how many organizations are out there doing the exact same thing.
Mary?
I just wanted to add, the thing that should be at the heart of your mind, the back of your mind for every single thing you do as an arts organization contacting the media should be this fundamental question, which is, why should I care? And it sounds a bit harsh, but why should I care should be at the fundamental heart of everything you do, because it may be well and good that you have a small audience for your jazz things once a week, but why should we care? Presume that we represent everyone else out there. We need to know what's special, what is it that, why is this different from every other week, or how is this going to impact someone who doesn't know about jazz, but like, do you see what I'm saying? You have to find that kernel, and it's always there. You just have to, somebody mentioned it earlier, you have to like plug into current affairs. You have to find the hook that this person's coming from France, and in France they've won a gazillion awards, and that's why you should care. But you always, that fundamental question, why should I care, should be right up there like on your forehead when you look in the mirror every day.
Greg, why should you care?
There's another group like yours, and they send emails out every week. But they're about events, you know, they send me to me every week, but it's an event that's happening in a month. So I find out 4 times that the event's coming. And
Is that better or worse?
That's not so good. I would rather just, you know, make it tailor-made so that, you know, and like the previous speaker said, you know the angle. You just told us what the angle was of that last story, you know, that these people came from France. And I think your problem is what a lot of other groups face. For some reason or another, you weren't able to let us know. And sometimes I'll get groups calling me, you know, I'm sorry, I forgot, someone else is supposed to do it. I don't know how many times I've heard that phone call. And I know, you know, you're calling me on a Friday, it's a week Saturday, and I've already got my stories for that week. So, you know, what can I do? But while I've got the floor, I just want to mention one other thing that I think you guys should consider as a group, and that's to get yourselves together and meet. For example, this week there are 3 plays going on in Kingston. 3 plays. I haven't learned the gift of bilocation yet, so I cannot go to all 3 of those plays. Last week there was no plays going on, new plays, like plays open. And 2 of those plays this week are being directed by professors in the Queen's Gown Department. You don't think they could have gone across the hall and told each other, oh, by the way, I got a play coming up? You know, if you spread yourselves out, there's a better chance of being covered.
There's another question. You have the same subject, Tori?
Yeah, just as an add-on, try and, especially with print media, try and think of how we play stories. So what is the angle that will make this compelling in a photo? And try and put that right at the top of your email, right at the heart of your press release, so that we know that us showing up at whatever, especially with something that's upcoming, send us a photo. Send us a photo of that band or a bio of that band, so that we know who they are and why they're important, as opposed to just what's going to happen.
Greg, do you mind if I get in on this? I know on the panel.
On this discussion?
On this particular question, the why should I care? I'm a freelance writer too, so I sort of feel both sides of it.
Yep.
But, I mean, this is it looks like a big group, but it's not a big group. And if you're a local event, why Ali should care and why Melissa should care are completely different. If you have a Queens connection, write a special release or a special email to Ali that says, hi, Ali, I have a great story for you about a Queens graduate who's involved in my event. And same thing, if you're talking to Meredith and knows she does national and you can tie it into that other stuff. Or if it's a TV related, you know, I have a great visual for you, Melissa. I've got this amazing piece of art that you've got to come and film, and I can get you there at 3 p.m., not at 7 p.m. So, I mean, I know that seems like a lot of work, but if you really care about your event, take the time to think about each one of these people and what will make them specifically care.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, go for it.
To elaborate on that, first of all, I didn't mean, when I said earlier that reporters are lazy, that was said in jest. The takeaway point there was to, make it easy for us by doing the things that we've been talking about the last few minutes. That is, give us a story to write about. As a journalist, one of the things, if I'm trying to pitch a story to a magazine I haven't written for before, I make sure that I know that magazine inside out. I read it from cover to cover, including the ads, and you study it, and you read a bunch of issues, and you get to know it inside out. So that this way you get a picture of who's actually reading that magazine, and you try to get inside the head of the editor, so that you know what kind of stories that they're likely to, accept or reject. And that's what you need to do with your audience. You need to know your audience and also know, who you're pitching to, as you just said. I mean, that is really good advice.
Great, thanks, Alan.
Hey, Matt Sultan. I'm with the Reload Film Festival. My question, actually, I've wanted to ask this question for years, so this is great, thanks. Press release. If you have an EPK for your event, should you send that press kit with your press release, or should you do that after a follow-up? So a simple press release with the basic information, and then send a press kit afterwards, or send it with the press release. My worry is if I send a bunch of stuff to you that you're not even going to look at it.
Do you want to ask anyone specific, or just anyone?
Everybody, I guess, pretty much.
Anybody want to take a stab at that? Alec and then Jane.
When I was the entertainment editor at the Whig Standard, I read basically everything. I mean, sometimes you get packages from, a theater company in Toronto promoting some show that I knew that nobody in Kingston, or very few people in Kingston, have a great interest in. So that sort of goes into the, the backup pile. But I would look at them. I may not be every editor, but it's my job to do that sort of thing. And so if I got something from you, I would absolutely look at it. But some organizations may not, frankly, have the budget to send out a full press kit. If they've got a whole bunch of potential media outlets that they want to get in touch with, they might not have the budget to send a whole press kit out. So in that instance,
Electronic.
Okay, well, if it's electronic, sure. Okay, yeah. I'm thinking analog here, but in that case, go ahead and send the whole thing. Send links, send PDFs, whatever.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it always helps to have the personal connection, because you do get sort of a flood of things like that. So a phone call always goes so much further. So I think the more information that you can provide, that's best.
Speaking for the Whig, I get so much junk email that whenever it's local, I always read it, just because it's a relief. Finding out about somebody's stock that's gone up in Portland, Oregon. You send me an EPK. Yeah, great. So I mean, I always read every local press release. I always read. I'm not saying always. And as a further addition, when it is an EPK, I usually do tend to go into it, and that might pique my interest a little more. So actually, I would say yeah.
However, follow up. That'd be my advice there.